Can everyone hear me? Hi, welcome. I feel like we have all of the in-person humans here, and I'm just waiting for a couple people to join in the virtual waiting room. Because as soon as I open this, I don't know how to see the waiting room. Does anyone know if there's a way? There's probably not, which is also fine.
Is it under more?
Let's see. I have no idea. No, it's fine. Let's see what the chat says. Oh, yeah. Let Sam in. My brother is in the waiting room.
Go to
Participants. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Fraser. You're the hero. All right, we'll just have this sitting here and I'll let anyone in that comes in a little late. Hi, welcome. All right. Wow, so you guys can just see this if I leave this here. This is my first time doing a live Zoom talk, so bear with me. I'm going to close this and this. Will I get a little notification? Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right, I'm going to start for real now. Wow, this is amazing to have so many people here. This means so much to me, especially because it's my senior year and I didn't know what was going to happen COVID-wise. So to be able to have everyone in person, I'm just over the moon, and I'm so grateful to you all for coming. I have a huge list of thank yous because I had so many people donate to my project, so I'm just going to put this here. But I wanted to give a few special thank yous before I begin my talk. So first to the Office of Student Engagement, Mike, Ruby, and Davis for making this event happen logistically. They knew all of that, the special stuff about hooking up mics and lighting and everything I didn't know how to do. So if any of them are here, thank you. This project also would not have been possible without the guidance and support of my two advisors, Lindsay Clark-Ryan and Lynn Yamamoto. So thank you for being here. Thank you for everything. I feel so grateful to be able to have worked with you in my final semester. And also thank you to Fraser Stables for help with photography, Andrew Maurer for helping me with the website, and Pam Petro for her overall support and help with everything at many levels of the project. Sorry, I keep saying I'm a little nervous, but I'm so happy that you're here. I need to breathe. Okay, I'm just gonna talk about my anxieties and then it's fine. Let's see. All right, so thank you to everyone who donated objects and boxes to my project. Literally, it wouldn't be a project if you hadn't all given me your random things. So that's really awesome. I got things from friends, family, anonymous donations, community members. You can come on in, or not, that's fine too. And the Northampton Free Cycle Network, a lot of people donated from there, which was really lovely. And if you don't know what that is, you should check it out. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just so appreciative because when you guys shared your objects with me, you also told me stories about the objects and the boxes. And I get to kind of have those as my little secret because you guys don't get to know the backstory to any of the objects, which I'll talk about later. Hi, welcome. Let's see. Just in time, I wanted to give a big thank you to Sessions House community. You guys have just been so supportive of me, and I know that I've been talking about this nonstop all semester, and you've tolerated that, and you've come, and you've donated, and you guys helped me test run, so thank you. And let's see. One more huge thank you to my family back home, Mom, Dad, Sam, who I did let in, and Richard the dog, just for everything. You guys know, and I'll say sappy stuff later too in private. Yeah. Let's see, I'll just say at the beginning, yeah, this is amazing you're here because of COVID. And just a little note about COVID, there will be a lot of touching things involved in my show, so there are gloves and hand sanitizer if that makes you feel more comfortable. And thank you to Emma for donating the gloves. Okay, let's get started. So if you guys all would, indulge me for a moment, I'd like you to close your eyes or stare off into the distance somewhere and let your vision go blurry. And I'm going to describe a little scene for you. So imagine you're in a place of darkness. Maybe it's an attic, a closet, under the bed, your basement, the garage, deep, deep in the very back of your sock drawer. Maybe it's a little dusty and you have to squint so you don't get sand in your eyes or dust or any of that. Maybe it smells a little mildewy or stale and your nose tickles a little bit. So far, you're so far in that the only sound you can hear is your own stumbling in the darkness. Alas, you have a flashlight, so turn it on. You can see all the dust flying through the air, and it doesn't really matter what you went in here looking for because your eyes fall on something more intriguing. It's a box. Surprise, surprise. It's over in the corner. It's buried a little bit. So take a look at the box. Do you recognize it? Is it something from your childhood? From your past? Is it something you've never seen before? You get to decide. Is it spilling over? Is it dirty? Is it taped up and maybe has a little mold on it? Is it purple and shiny? Maybe that's why it caught your eye. Whatever your box is, pick it up and bring it back into the light. And now open it and begin taking things out. Sift, dig, even dump it out on the table. And an object catches your eye, so you pick it up. What is your object? What memories does it trigger? Does it inspire any imaginations? I wonder what else could be inside the box. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Thank you for doing that with me. This project was inspired by that type of experience. I know everyone's climbed into the darkness somewhere and found something and brought it out into the light and had amazing, unexpected discoveries. So for me, that discovery, that box was this old jewelry box, which was my grandmother's. She passed away at the beginning of COVID. And so I inherited all of her old jewelry. I found so many different staples from her wardrobe that I recognized, her gold rings, the large chunky earrings that she used to wear, all of her costume jewelry, a surprising amount of clown pins, jewelry from all of her travels abroad. And I just felt closer to her as I was looking through her old possessions because it made me feel like I was with her again. And it was really exciting to find little pieces that I could wear, like this gigantic thing on my finger. I believe she got it at like a student art show or something. And it's kind of a way to keep her with me. So that experience just made me realize how much I love hunting for treasure. I love digging through objects. And I love the thrill of the hunt for like the perfect find, the unexpected discoveries. So I created a treasure hunt for you. Basically, I gathered thousands of objects and put them into over 100 boxes. And so I'd like to tell you a little bit about my past work, because it'll make this project make sense. So here we go. Yes, these are just a couple of the objects that I found, thousands more. So one thing I've been interested in my studies as an artist is the ordinary, the everyday, and the mundane. So for example, these are just a few artworks that I was inspired by. The red room, which is just a room full of red objects, kind of bringing objects out of the everyday and into an art piece. The same with My Bed by Tracy Emin. And then also the book Among My Clediments by June Carter Cash. Oh no. Bear with me, internet. Okay, clediments is a word that June Carter Cash made up, basically to mean all of those little things that you have that you don't know what to do with. You don't know if you want to give them away or throw them away, but it just feels weird to get rid of them, so you just have them. And maybe they say something about you. Well, Well, that's not good. Ah! Thank you for bearing with me. Also storytelling. Storytelling has been super important to me, originally through the lens of comics. So these are just a couple pages from different comics I've done, more toward the beginning of my time at Smith. And I think that storytelling can be done in a lot of ways that aren't the traditional words on a page or just spoken. And that's going to come into play in a little bit. I also have been interested in just the idea of repetition, accumulation, excess, obsession. Don't really know where it comes from, but I've just really been fascinated with repeating tiny little objects. So this project was called Chair. It's basically a bunch of pieces of a chair all chopped up and laid out as if it's being cataloged. And I want to thank Lee because he was the one that helped me chop the entire thing up. And I think that this is an interesting form of storytelling because, you know, if you think about it, there's the implied touch that the artist has touched all of these little objects, like the intimate inner parts of the chair, and that speaks to an experience. Is it, you know, maybe an afternoon spent with Lee Burns, cutting up wood. Maybe it's about the tree itself, all of the little, what are those things called? The rings of the tree. Maybe it's about the chair, which was a Smith dining hall chair that it was broken, but I cut it up. I can say that now because I'm about to graduate, so it's fine. Yeah, I mean, like, what stories could be hidden in something mundane like a chair? These are just other examples of accumulative, repetitive works. This was a fun balloon project I did in Lynn's class. This was in my senior studio show last year. I was like really obsessed with repeating little pieces of fabric. And Lindsay was teaching this class. So thank you, Lindsay, for helping that come to life. Something else I've been interested in is performance. Performance art, usually endurance-based or durational, which I think in its own way is kind of a form of repetition or accumulation in terms of time. So yeah, this is a piece called Meditations on Depression, where I basically dipped my hands in a bucket of sludge and then waited for it to dry, which took hours until my body physically gave out and my hands fell back in the bucket and I started all over. Yeah, lots of fun. I don't know why I do these things to myself, but I did, and I call it art. And finally, socially engaged and community-based art. So this is an image from a project I did a while ago where I made little broadsides about sustainability based on stories that community members had told me. And then I kind of stood out with a sign that said free art and just made people come take them. And I had fun little conversations with people and parents and their children about reducing, reusing, and recycling. And this is what they looked like. It's also kind of a comic, storytelling, I don't know, all those things mix in. So now we come to the object project. First, I want to talk about the boxes. So this is a little behind the scenes photo of all of the boxes, not all of them, there's like a couple missing, but most of them that I accumulated over the semester. They came from friends, family, thrift stores, a lot from thrift stores. You never know what you're gonna find there. Basically, as you're wandering around, I want you to know that they're sort of arranged by person. So if a person donated a box, their objects are in that box. And I tended to keep groups of objects from one person together versus scattering them around among other boxes. So each box kind of tells its own story of the person that filled it. And the boxes are also placed sort of in relation to each other. So just based on my own associations, like, oh, this person knows this person, so maybe these will be next to each other. And maybe that's some sort of invisible story that you can try to decode, but that's not super important. Then there's the objects. So these are also some behind the scenes photos. I took photos of every single object from multiple angles. Yes, that took a long time. Yes, I like doing weird and repetitive things, so it was perfect for me. Yeah, so some of the objects came from thrift stores, most of them came from people. You would be surprised how much people want to get rid of. They just give you giant boxes of their junk, and it's really fun to dig through. So I also, when I was soliciting objects, I asked for them to be no larger than what could be held in one hand. And that's partly logistically, like I don't want to have a bunch of gigantic objects, but it's also because I think there's something special about being able to pass something from one hand to another. I think that, stories can be embedded in objects in invisible ways or kind of subtle ways, like in the marks, the scratches on them, smudges, tears, rips. I think those all tell stories about objects, stories that we might not necessarily know, but we can guess about based on how they've been treated, what they look like. Sorry guys, I'm like feeling fine, but my voice is a little bit wobbly. That's okay though. I used to do theater, it's been a while. So basically, I know the identities of all the people that gave me these objects, but that is purposely something that remains anonymous to you in the installation. Because I think that objects carry different meanings for everyone. We all bring our own stories and our own associations to the objects. So, yeah, I think they can evoke memories of past. I think that they can inspire imagination. If you don't know where it's from, you can form a story about, what happened to this duck whose beak is a little scratched, or why is this person wearing witch fingers? Who owned those before? Yeah, they evoke memories of our personal past and connect us to unknowable pasts through imagination. So each object has an origin story and a sort of unwritten biography of all the places it's traveled and the people it has encountered. Echoes of touch linger on every object, and I think that's something special that we can investigate and be curious about. And that's something to be aware of as you're digging through the objects. What else do I have? Oh yeah, a little bit more about soliciting objects from people. I also love printmaking, so I made 100 copies of this little note asking people to donate objects. These are them fresh off the press, really wet. Late at night, I finished it. And this is what they look like. So I left them in random places around the Smith campus. You may have encountered one at some point or another. And I left my phone number and my email, and people wrote back to me like, lovers of weird objects, unite. Like, here you go, take all of my stuff. And it was really wonderful. And I hope that you kept them, because I would be sad if you threw it away after all the time I spent making them. But if you threw them away, that's okay too. I've accepted that. Ooh, we're almost done. I think we're gonna just try to make it through. Thank you, Erin. So, we're at the end. Basically, your task is to pick a box, dig through it, choose one object to keep, and then leave a note about what you chose and why. And the reason that I ask you to choose one out of the hundreds, thousands of objects that are there is because I think, we live in a capitalist, consumerist society where people just want more, and it's to fill some kind of void or, to project some kind of identity. And I think objects lose their meaning when we just accumulate them. So even if there are like multiple that you really like, I want you to think about which one means the most to you and what it would mean to actually keep this. I want it to be something you keep, not something you just throw away. That would not be a good one to choose. Also, with the holidays coming up, maybe you want to get something meaningful for a loved one. Just putting that out there. Lots of options, so you'll have to choose carefully. Yeah, I'm really excited for you guys to see this. And most of all, I just want you guys to engage in the pleasureful, joyful experience of being able to dig through things and, you know, the thrill of the hunt to find the perfect object. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for listening to my talk. I can take a couple questions, but my battery is dying and there is an event in here very soon. So I'll also be wandering around and you can ask me then. Thank you. Any questions? It's all right if you don't have questions. Yeah, same. Okay, yes, Erin.
Were there any objects that you really wanted to keep that you left them?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't leave them in, I kept them. I believe this ring was from Sarah Hampton. It's a lovely little cat eye. I feel like because I put this whole thing together, I get to keep a couple extra. But don't tell anyone. Thank you for your question. River.
If all the pieces are taken,
That is an excellent question. I think that you should show up to the closing reception because there's going to be a special addendum to the instructions, which will not be revealed until then. But I have a plan for getting rid of all of the objects. I'll just say that. Thank you for asking. If there aren't any more questions, I think we can mosey on over to the Nolan Art Lounge and I'll be walking around if you have any other questions. Thank you. I sure hope so.